Okay. So we're going to start on the floor. We're just going to warm up the arms and shoulders. So it's arms and a bit of backs today as well. Just sitting comfortably, however is comfortable for you. Cross-legged is good for me, but might not be for everybody. It's really just, we're going to warm up the arms, wrists and neck. So let's just have a little circle with the nose, because we're going to be doing some push-ups. So that can lead to a lot of tension in the neck and shoulders. We just want to get that nice and warm and ready. Change direction, just a small, like you're drawing a circle with your nose. Might feel a few clicks and bits, that's fine. Let's take the ear to the shoulder and change, lovely. Still thinking of pulling up nice and tall, even though we're sitting on the floor. Engaging your tummy muscles a little bit, so just pulling the belly button into the spine, hold over to the right. Just gently with some fingers, increase that stretch. This other hand, you can put it on the floor, or if it's comfortable, you can just pop it under your bum and it just pulls it down. Doesn't really matter which way your hand is, just whatever is comfortable. Just gives a nice stretch here. Rotate down, looking down towards the floor. You might just feel the stretch change a bit. Lovely, let's release, change sides, ear to shoulder. Gently lengthen and just pop your hand under just to pull that shoulder down. And then rotate the head. Lovely, let's get these wrists and shoulders warm. So circling the wrists round, quite a bit on all fours, so we really want to get these warm, lovely. And reverse. Lovely, I'm going to take the arms out to the side, I'm going to flick them up and down, so really stiff if you can, as if you're pushing your heels of your hands away. And a little bounce in the shoulders, so the shoulders are getting a bit warm. Try and keep your shoulders down. Lovely. Keep your hands up, circles back, small circles. I'm going quite quick, but again, whatever speed is good for you. Again, keep your shoulders down because they tend to want to creep up, so really push them down, lengthen the neck, lengthen the space between the ears and the shoulders. Let's put the wrist down and circles forward. Lovely. Start to bring the hands in, and we're going to flick them up and down. It's a bit like you're revving a motorbike. Lovely. Bring those hands together, link the fingers, figure of 8. They should feel nice and warm now. We're going to give them a little stretch. Then we'll go into the shoulders a bit more and then we'll get started. Lovely. Stretch one hand and the wrist. Lovely, let's change sides, stretch. Then we do double stretch, hands together, stretch the hands one way, then stretch them the other way. And keep reversing, stretch. Stretch, let's take those arms up. Push up to the ceiling, you can let your shoulders shrug up to the ears, let them relax. Then we'll come down. Reverse round the back, push your hands to me, let your head drop, so we're separating our shoulder blades, a little stretch in the upper back. Lovely, and release, good. So warming up these shoulders a little bit more, let's take the arms over each other, so open and close. Lovely. And we're really opening them up, pushing that chest forward, so we're getting an opening in the chest. Really cross them over. Lovely, let's take them up and down, up and down. Again, this is getting these shoulders warm. And it's starting to do a little workout. Do a few more of these and then we'll give them a little stretch before we start. Take the arms out and bring your elbows in. Squeeze inwards. I'm going to change the hand positions. It's like I'm bouncing a ball, squeezing them in. Lovely. It's very generic background music today, but just so we can focus on what we're doing. Lovely. Let's do another 8. But my arms are aching already. I haven't even lifted a weight yet. You can really tell when you don't do anything for a few weeks. Lovely. Release. Let's have a little stretch of these shoulders. So hand on the shoulder, and then you can use this arm just to push it across. We're stretching here. Some people do this with a straight arm, so it really doesn't matter. Lovely, let's reverse. Other side, keeping your shoulder down. So I think we'll start with some weights first, really get these muscles warmed up. And then we should do some body weight exercises. Again, there's always going to be different options and levels, so don't worry. We're not going to be doing full push-ups. Take your hands behind you and stretch. If it's hard to do in this position, just change your feet position. Sometimes it's easier if you're on your knees. You can grab back. Lovely. One more back stretch. Stretch forward, stretch those shoulder blades apart. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to start on all fours, and I've got both sets of weights. I imagine I'm going to use light weights today, just because we haven't done anything and it's going to kill my arms. So starting on all fours, and it's tabletop position, so we you do a lot of exercise in this position. Really think of your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips, so you're like a table. And think of your shoulders away from your ears, because when you're on all fours, they tend to creep up near your chin. So push them back. And it's like you're pulling your hands apart as if you were trying to pull the mat apart or a piece of paper. And that just engages your shoulders and really keeps them steady. So you're trying to stay like that as much as you can. Again, just squeeze the tummy in so that you're pulling your belly button towards your spine, so you're not just collapsed. So we're just a nice and strong position. And we're going to start off with taking a weight in one arm, and we're just going to lift it up and back down and lift. So if you've got wrist problems and this is really uncomfortable, you can always just come under the knee and you could do the same thing. So obviously on all fours, it's just working your back a little bit more, but you've got to work with what your body's listening to. It's quite hard to lift a weight this high. So we're not going to do too many of these, but it's really working that shoulder. Try to keep the back flat so we don't rotate. So your chest is down. 4 more. 3. Squeeze that tummy. 2. And 1. Lovely. Let's switch sides. So try and keep your weight as central as you can. Try not to lean over too much. And we're lifting up. Again, shoulders back. Pull those hands apart and lift. Keeping the rest of the body still, looking straight down at the floor. Squeeze that tummy every time you reach. 4 more. 1. 2. Breathe. Nice and steady. Breathe with your movements. 1 more. Lovely. Okay. We're going to switch back to the other arm. And this one, and again you can do this without weights if you want. You could probably even go up a weight, because we're keeping the weight close to the body. You can do it a bit heavier if you want. And you're just pulling your elbow up and down. So pull it up and down, up. Again, try not to twist the body. Keep your spine stable. Keep your chest down. And you're looking straight down, so like you're looking in a mirror, so the neck's got no stress. And you're taking the elbow up to the ceiling. It's a bit like you're sort of starting a petrol mower or something. It's that feeling of pulling up. It's a row basically. If you are using a heavy weight, in a minute we're going to add an extension, so you may want to switch back to something smaller, but just see how you go. Another 4, 3, 2, 1. Staying on the same side, we're going to pull back, extend, bend and lower. So you pull the elbow up, shoulder away from the ear, really strong other arm, lengthen and back and lower. Try not to lock that arm out, so don't fling it and lock it. Especially if you've got hyperextensive arms like me, so you just lengthen it. It's the tricep we're working. Lift. Lovely. Breathe. Think of your posture. Squeeze your tummy. We've got 4 more. And we're really working this arm. Should feel that muscle burn in the back of the arm. Last one. Fantastic. Good. Let's switch sides. So we're just doing the row to start with. So shoulders back, tummy in, get your position nice and strong, shoulders apart, and pull up, and down, and up. Breathe with your movements. Doesn't really matter which way round, but you can breathe in, out. You might find that's too quick a breath, so you could always do a breath over 2 movements, but just be aware of your body and your breath. Synchronising if you can. Let's do another 4 of these. 3. Shoulders away from the ears. Then we're going to add on this extension. So let's elbow, extend, in and down. So the extension is nice and slow, so we don't fling it. You're extending. Pull it back in and down. Lovely. Extend. Again, think of that spine, so squeeze the tummy so we're stabilising the spine and you're not twisting your hips. Let's do 4 more. Last 2, we can do it. Doing well. Last 1. And release. Well done. Let's give these wrists a little rest for a moment. And give them a stretch. Lovely. So slightly change your position now because I want to do some flies. And to do that, you need to obviously be leaning on something. So whichever leg you have a preference for, doesn't matter, I'm using my right leg. It just means I've got something to lean into, so I can lean forward and then I can do things with my arms. So again, not too heavy weight. Make sure you've got room. I'm just going to shift myself over a bit. So you're leaning into the leg, but try not to collapse on it. So you're still holding your body, and by holding up, you're working your back muscles to hold up. It just means you've got some support. So shoulders back, and you're just going to open your arms out to the side like you've got wings and you're flapping them. I think maybe that's why they call it a fly. I don't know. And again, arms are soft, so your elbows are slightly bent. You're not straight. You're not flinging it. Again, making sure your knee doesn't start to travel past your toe. It's not a stretch. The leg's just there for support. You could always do this sat in a chair if this isn't comfortable. You're getting a mini stretch in the leg a bit, I suppose. Lovely, keep going. 8 more. 7. Think of those shoulder blades behind you, squeezing back. Last 4. Lovely, and release. Well done. Just give your leg a rest for a second. Switch legs. This one we're going to be sitting up straight, not leaning forward. I want to do some bicep curls. It's just easier than trying to sit down doing it. But if you're not comfortable on your knees, you can always stand up or sit on a chair. Shoulders back, elbows in, and lift. Come down a bit, so I'm squashing, nearly cutting my head off. That's it. Squeeze. And think of the muscle you're working. So it's this one here. Pull it up again, gently down. Don't fling or lock those arms out. Lovely. Breathe in. Squeeze. Shoulders down. Feeling your neck nice and long. And aligned, so we don't want to have your chin stuck up or here. So you're just almost looking straight ahead. Lovely. Glasses keep falling off. Must get Specsavers. Get them tightened up. We're going to slightly change it. Let's come all the way up, halfway down. All the way up, halfway down. Lovely. Up, halfway down. Squeeze. Again, as your weights are closer to your body, you can always have a bit heavier weight. Once you start taking your arms further away, I find a lighter weight is better. Let's hold it halfway, pulse for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still fingers squeezing that tummy. 8 more. 7 should feel these biceps. 4, 3, 2 and 1. Lovely. Let's release those down. Wonderful. Halfway through. So I'm going to do a little bit more for our triceps. We're going to do this sat on the floor. So I'm not going to add too much body weight to it. I'm going to have my hands in a diamond shape. Doesn't matter if they're not touching. And you have them behind your back on the floor. So again, if your hands aren't totally like that and they're a bit spread apart, that's fine. But it's quite close to your bottom. You're not too far away. Your hands almost touching your back. But just making sure your wrists feel comfortable. I've got my legs straight, but if you want to have a little bend, you can. And we're just going to small bend and lift. So this is a better way of doing a tricep. When you start to carry on with this, when you start to lift and do it, you can get a bit of impingement in your shoulders. So it's not always the best option for doing those. Whereas this is a bit safer because your shoulders are nice and straight. You're not forcing them at a funny angle. And you can feel this is already quite hard. You don't have to go back that far. You're feeling again this muscle here, this tricep, bend and straighten. Just a small lean back and push up. Again, still thinking the posture. Squeeze your tummy in, bend and lift. Can we take it a bit quicker? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. And release. Let's give these arms a little shake and a stretch. So I'm going to do some push-ups and then we'll do a little bit of back work. Okay, so options for push-ups. We're going to do them on our knees and then I'm going to add a bit more on. Most important thing is your hand position. So I'll try and explain it on the wall. If you've got your hands really far apart, that's a real lot of stress on your wrists and your shoulders tend to drop in. You get that impingement. Or if you're up here, so your arms should be like that. So a good way to test that before you start is to lie down. And if you were going to push yourself up, where would you have your hands? You wouldn't have them here or here. You'd put them there because that's the sort of way you feel you've got the most control. Your elbows are in and then you would push up and that's your position. So then you can come up, get into your box and that's where you start. So they're always going to be a bit wider than the shoulders, but it's very much here if you want against the wall like that. So other things to remember, you can have your knees together. Squeeze your knees together because a push-up is a whole body movement, not just arms. So if you squeeze your knees together, it means you're engaging your legs and your thighs and your bottom. That's going to help support your core. Shoulders back, neck is long, and again, really important to pull those hands apart because that will create a nice strength in your shoulders, nice stability. So you then just lean down and it's your forehead that goes to the floor. So you squeeze your knees, squeeze your tummy, shoulders back, pull the hands apart and down. And my glasses have fell off. So you're really coming forward past your hands. You don't have to go down that low either. You're just sort of creating right angles. And keep those elbows in so you're not doing that, impinging the shoulders or the wrists. Really think of your middle finger pointing forwards, your hands are evenly spread with the weight, and it's your forehead to the floor. If you find it difficult, you can always open the knees, but I think squeezing the knees and getting ready because that's going to help you to take it to the next level. Let's do 4 more. Breathe in, breathe out. Squeeze that tummy, squeeze that pelvic floor. 2 more. 1 more. And just relax back. So you can feel that's quite tough already. We're just going to do another 8. I'm going to do it in a different position slightly if you want. Or you can stay where you are. So, try and keep them on this time. Exactly the same position, but you just take your hands one step forward so that you can drop your hips down a bit. Still tucked under, so there's no arching, and then you just do the same thing. Just means more weight into those hands. It's up to you. You're either in your box or come forward. And we've got 8. Try not to do what I'm doing and have one hand on the mat, one on the floor. I just haven't got the room. Not very good. 1. And up and again, you don't have to go that far down. Tuck that head in. Squeeze the knees, squeeze the bum, shoulders away from the ears. Try and pull those hands apart. Got 4 more, squeeze that tummy. So you can see how much I'm shaking. If you engage everything and do the position properly, push-ups really hard. You see so many people sort of do terrible form with push-ups, which is why they're doing about 100 of them. If you do them correctly, you're going to work everything. Sit back, lovely. Knees open, let's stretch through. And relax here for a moment. Let's give these shoulders a little stretch. Just thread one arm through. You might lift your bottom a bit more and lean into your shoulder. Lovely, let's switch. Wonderful, okay. How long have we got? Perfect. So I want to do some back exercises. So we're going to lie on our front. Our feet are going to stay on the floor. We're just going to lift the upper body, but this is going to be working the arms as well. So I'm going to start with my arms pulled back, a bit like we're going to do a push-up, but relax. Neck is long and relax down. So shoulders away from the ears, pull your tummy up as if the floor is freezing cold, you're trying to suck your belly up. We want to try not to use the legs, so don't squeeze your bum and push on your feet. So all of this has got to relax, and the upper body is tense. Just squeeze the tummy, breathe in and lift. It's not a high lift, but feel the shoulders away from the ears, feel a lengthening. You feel all these muscles in the back tense and then lower. So it's a small lift, but again, done correctly. Pull the belly in is the key. If you push on your tummy, you see you can do this. We don't want to push on the belly. You want to suck the belly up, and it's just the lower back doing the work. And we're getting a bit of an extension in the upper back, but don't lift the chin. So keep looking at the floor. I'm going to add arms onto this. Again, these are optional layers. You don't have to add them on. I'm sure you'll be fine. Lift, stretch, pull back and lower. Lift, squeeze the tummy, relax the bottom, relax the feet, relax the toes. Sometimes we push on our toes. Just let them really relax. Reach, pull back. So it's really the emphasis on the pull back. Lift up, pull the tummy in, stretch, pull back and lower. If you want to add on, hands start off the floor. Lift. Reach, pull back, lower, lift, reach. So you've got different layers there, no arms on the floor, or reaching up, and then you're starting to really work the upper back. We'll do 4 more here, then hold up. Squeeze the tummy, and there's 2. Keep breathing, keep that neck long, chin is tucked in. We've got 2 more, and then the last one, hold up and just reach. Reach, pull back, arms up or down. Reach, pull back, reach, pull back. This is about lengthening more than height, so feel like you're reaching forward and reaching back. 3 more. Glasses fell off again. 2 more. 1 more and another one, because I can't count. Relax, let's push back gently into child pose. Round in this lower back, relax down. Lovely. How are we doing for time? 5 minutes, perfect. So we have a nice stretch out. So I'm going to stretch out the back. Let's do a couple of back stretches on the floor. So lying down on your back gently. Bring one knee in and just circle it round. Especially if we're working from home or at Christmas, we've sat down a lot. Back gets quite tight. So a couple of stretches to release the back as well as stretching out our arms. Let's change foot. So that one down, bring the other knee in. This creates a nice rounding in the lower back. Press the lower back in the floor. Change direction. Lovely. Let's bring both knees in. Just give them a squeeze and a little rock from side to side, massaging the lower back. Also extending this lower back, stretching out. Try and keep your neck long so you haven't got your chin up in the air. Lovely. Just hold on to one knee, lengthen your other leg away. So we're just giving this hip flexor a bit of a stretch and making this stretch a little bit more intense. Pull the knee across slightly. Just a small stretch in the hip, very gentle. Lovely, release. Let's switch sides. Other knee in, lengthen that leg. We're stretching here and pulling this leg in. And then pull the leg across. So one for the lower back and the upper back. Bring both knees in. Feet on the floor. Hands to the side. As long as you don't feel any kind of twinging, you just let both knees drop gently to the side. Keep your opposite shoulder down and look over the opposite ways. If your knees are to your right, look over to your left shoulder. So we're stretching the top of the spine away from the base of the spine. And then come back to centre of the head gently. Come back to centre. Let those legs go the other way. Once they're the other side, again you can look over that right shoulder. We're going to do a few more arm stretches sitting up. So after this one we'll come up gently to sitting. So back to centre. Roll over to your right. Coming up gently. Find a comfortable position. We're going to do a few arm stretches. I'm going to come onto my knees because I want to do a lean forward in a moment. But again, you've got to do what's comfortable for your legs. Let's do that one first in case you want to change position. So hands linked behind you, stretch back. Lifting up your chest. And then I'm going to lift the arms up and lean forward. You can do this standing if your knees are not comfortable like this. Or just keep the stretch as it was. Your hands tend to get a bit slidey and want to come apart. Coming back up, lovely. Let's do a tricep stretch. Again, easier in this position. Hand here and keep that shoulder back. Lovely, 2 minutes, perfect timing. Oh, I felt that today. And let's keep this arm, but just bring it down and across the shoulder and push back. Lovely, we shall switch sides. So other arm up, hand between the shoulder blades. Try and get the arm up nearly here. And gently encourage that arm back, don't pull on it. Just sort of a couple of fingers on it. Stretching the triceps out. It's also stretching out your shoulders. If you've got tight shoulders, this is a good stretch to do. If you're tight shouldered, you'll probably find this quite uncomfortable. Let's take that arm across and pull over. Lovely, let's do a upper back stretch. So hands together, stretch, head drops down, pulling your hands away, really separating those shoulder blades. And release. And I'm just going to sit cross-legged for these last few stretches. It's easier position. Reach up and over, so we're really stretching out the shoulder and down the side of the body. Just keep this hip on the floor, so don't lift. And just feel a nice stretch. If that's uncomfortable in your neck, just let your gaze come down and let your neck relax. Lovely. Whilst we're here, use this hand just to lengthen the neck, just a little stretch like we did in the beginning. Then hand down, other arm up and reach. Again, if it's easier on the neck. And then let's just use these fingers to just gently lengthen that neck. And back to centre. Lovely. Let's take a few breaths to finish. Breathe in and out. And in and out. One more. And back and stretch and clap. Thank you. Oh. Thank you for coming back.